James Lugo, man, we were so close. We were just about to start playing. All that work we were doing.
It's all right.
What's it been like 2.5 months now?
Yeah, well, our gig was March 27th, but I think March was a wrap.
Yeah, it was crazy because like we had all those rehearsals done. We were sounding really tight.
Yeah,
and then the apocalypse happened.
The Ubershaw's still up there.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself. Where you're from? What's your background?
What's my background? I'm James Lugo. I'm a music guy. Originally from New York, and then when I was 12, we moved to Florida. And then when I got out of high school, I moved to Hollywood, mid '80s, and my hair was up to here, spandex, and kind of glam metal and shred metal, and did a lot of funky pop stuff too, and played with some of those groups, and yeah, just a little bit of everything, man. Sing, play guitar, write songs, produce records. I own a studio here in Nashville.
How different was it to go from like L.A., Hollywood to here?
Not as different as you'd think.
Really?
Yeah, people are real similar. I mean, people in the music business are kind of like a certain, they're a certain breed, and they're really not that different. It's not that different.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that prompted us to leave was that we started having kids.
Right.
And when my wife was pregnant for her first son, we were living right down in West Hollywood. We were living down like on Willoughby, like kind of like Melrose or La Cienega and Melrose.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere right down in there, we had a duplex, and that's just not a place to raise kids, man.
No, I know a lot.
There.
I know a lot of people like when they start to like want to like not settle, but they just want more of a chill atmosphere. It's like straight to Nashville.
I actually left LA and we moved for a couple of years to Raleigh, North Carolina, because my wife's family's from there, and we thought we'd have family, and it was cool, but in a way when I left LA, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Part of me wanted out of the music business. You know what I mean?
Right. I know what you mean.
I just didn't know what else. What else am I going to do? I mean, I've been doing this since I'm a little kid. A lot of my friends were bailing and getting into real estate and doing other things. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I moved to Raleigh, and I just kind of fell into a depression of I wasn't doing anything. I was still working. I was, making records for local artists, and I still had my LA records that I was making. And I was teaching locally and then teaching voice on Skype, and still had all my LA things. But after a couple of years there, I was like, man, I don't know. I was just really, me and you, between us, we've lost a Jonas brother in body fat, right? Yeah. I was almost 300 pounds, and I was like trying to,
I was 250.
Yeah. We both lost a gang, and it was getting bad, man. I was really depressed, and I was just eating, and just
Speaking of the depression thing, like what's going on right now, I'm starting to get down, man. I'm starting to feel it. It's
what's so funny? It's funny you bring that up, because I've been feeling okay. I've been taking this opportunity. I've been learning how to program synths. I've been taking piano lessons. Like I'm like developing my craft. Like I'm moving a lot into pop music, and I've been learning about programming drums, and I've been getting into MPCs and all this stuff. And I've really been doing okay. And last night, it hit me like unbelievable, man. I was like, and I keep thinking of the Sheryl Crow song, Can't Cry Anymore. Like, I couldn't even get it out of myself. I couldn't even, I was pacing around the house. I couldn't sleep. I was scared. I was freaking out about money and freaking out about, work. And I have 2 little kids, and I'm free, I'm like, they've been home for 2 months. Yeah. So I'm trying to like half-ass homeschool them. And
I've been like, it's funny because I'm doing the same thing. I got all this time. I started writing a new record, but my background, and this is like turning into a pop record with vocals on it. And right. There's drum programming on it, and I'm trying, lots of fat beats are happening, commencing in my house. But yeah, like not being able to play out for as long, I thought I'd be able to manage okay. Like, I'm a kind of a loner, and I was like, oh, cool, some time off at home. But man, it's starting to creep up on me. I'm sitting around, I'm staring at the walls here when I'm not creating, and wondering if there's an end in sight, which I know there will, but nobody knows how long this stupid thing's going to last. And then like you were saying, we lost the Jonas Brothers, but sometimes like there's nothing else to do but eat.
Well, that's the thing. So I started putting weight on again.
So have I.
2 months ago, my food was getting a little sketchy going into this. But 16 days ago, I just said, wait a second, hold on, and I started back on the path of, I fast in the morning and I work out fasted and I track my food and I watch my carbs and I eat good and and I've lost 6 pounds in 16 days, so I'm back in the right mode.
For me, it's just I do okay. I eat all right, but there'll be like one thing I'll do in a day, like alcohol. I'll have a few drinks and I'll lose my ability to eat right, and I'll just start shoveling food in my mouth.
It's like,
and everybody
pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody is kind of like the COVID drinking binge thing that's happening across the country. There's going to be a lot of people gaining weight when this thing's done. We'll see people we won't even recognize.
See, and I don't drink, so I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah, right on.
Oh man, yeah. So because I can't drink, I'm taking it out on pizza, right?
Yeah, and the days too. Like it's because you can't tell the difference between a Sunday or a Wednesday. It's all like, all right, I don't even know what time of day it is now, so I guess I should maybe eat something. I don't know. Let's see what happens when I eat. How do I feel after that? But
funny, man. Yeah, my food's been good though, and yeah. So and I've been doing weekly weigh-ins. So I weighed in yesterday, and I was down another 2.5 pounds from last week. So I'm doing good. I've been back working out. It's a weird time, man.
Yeah,
it's a weird time, man. A big part of like my career of how I make money is I go out and and I do lectures in the winter and the summer.
Yeah,
I don't know if summer's going to roll this year. I think one of them is definitely off. And then the other one, I don't know, man. I don't know. Everybody's just holding right now. Nobody's saying anything.
I know that for me, all corporate gigs canceled, for the rest of the year. And I think I got a booking, but it isn't until February 2021. That's how far out things are right now. And who knows if there's a resurgence in the winter, that may not happen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people scrambling around. Like, I think I've talked about this before on another one of these. I think eventually, because musicians are trying to figure out this live streaming thing. And I think that it's still in its infancy in regards to how you can make money off of it. Because right now it's just this free thing. Oh, watch me and my friends hang out and play. Or you play in front of your laptop or whatever and do a nice little stream. But people have got to figure out how they're going to make money off of that at some point. And hopefully
those virtual tip jars, man,
even that's not it.
I almost think like you gotta, I don't know. To me, you gotta get past that. Like it's gotta, I mean, to try to think you're gonna make a good living playing live music, it's over. And, you know, and further, yeah, I mean, I just read some article that like a lot of musicians are going to, they want to go to trucking school and learn to be truck drivers. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, unless your bills are so low, you know, or you live at home, or, you know, your wife's a brain surgeon or something. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be, I don't know, man. It could be, I mean.
It could be a long time.
It could be a long, could be never. You know, I mean, it could be, you know, it could be something that's different. I mean, I heard that when they open up Broadway, there's not going to be live music. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, not this early. I imagine as soon as somebody comes along with the vaccine, that'll be. I'm pretty sure, like, oh, there's a vaccine, so everything will open like the next day, even though people aren't vaccinated yet.
Yeah, I can't wait for the government to inject me with something.
Hey, as long as this works, I'm good. I'm fine with it. I get my flu shot every year. I'm good for that.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah. So tell us some of the cats you've worked with.
Cats. Man, that was a gear shift, dude. I was like, man. I was like, and I thought to myself, cats. I'm a vet.
Yeah. Right on.
Cats I worked with. I don't know who's on my. I mean, you know, I've got. Well, on my. I guess. Let me see. I got.
So you've got. So here's why I asked. You have like this big list, right?
Right.
People you've worked with. What I want to know is how, because I'm interested. Because I'd like to go that route. You know, you're producing people. How did you go from kid with big hair to producing people's stuff and doing seminars? And I want to get into the vocal thing too, because you've got some chops in that area, and I want to know how you develop that too. You know? Yeah.
American Idol, Matt Sorum. So American Idol, like I'm on my own. I'm on my own site.
Yeah.
I coached. I was on camera for a couple of years. I was a vocal analyst, vocal coach. 311. I gave Nick voice lessons. Also, kind of gave him I helped them with some of their songwriting, like they needed it. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you just go to people to get fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Matt Sorum, he had a record label. It still does, I think. It's kind of a record label production company in Hollywood. A lot of girl bands. I was his vocal coach. His wife, Ace, was one of my students. A whole bunch of kind of intertwined. Bruce Bouillet. I did his last record. Mixed it. Glee. Man, I was a vocal coach for that dude in Glee. He died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The heck was his name? Why can't I think of his name?
How long ago was that?
Mark Salling, the kid that played Puck.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, he and I worked with them, and Fuel. I worked with them as their. I helped them find their new singer. That was like I was commissioned to like screen singers. I don't know if I actually found the guy. I don't know. I screened singers for them. Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, a lot of this stuff too. I used to do staff writing, kind of like licensing writing, songwriting, and production for TV shows and film and a lot of commercials. And,
right.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a mixed bag.
So how do you get to that point from, again, being the big hair guitar player kid to now I'm doing this?
I kind of oddly fluked into it. I was on the road and I came back to LA in 2000, and I was really I was excited about music again, and I I was like living in my car. I was delivering flowers, and I was living in my car. It was weird. I was like in my mid-30s, and I was back living in my car.
That's really romantic, though.
Yeah, it's pretty gangsta.
You delivered flowers and
Yeah.
dude.
The key to being successful in the music business is to be able to absorb extreme, excruciating pain and not quit. You can't quit.
It's true. It's true.
You got to be a lifer. You got to, like my dad always used to say, son, never have a plan B. Because what happens is in the action or in the path of achieving greatness, so many bad things that'll happen. If you have a plan B, you'll end up going to it. He says, don't have a plan B. He says, have a plan A and accomplish it. So I never really had a plan B. And, I was living in my car, and I had gotten back to LA, and I ended up, I was like, man, I just want to be around singers. It was weird. I went to a karaoke shop. There was like a karaoke store in the Valley. And I just was like, I'm just going to stand here and be around people singing. I didn't even know what I was doing. And there was a flyer for a vocal seminar. It used to be called it was the Universal City Premier West Vocal Symposium. It was every year, and it was the biggest coaches in the world. That year, it was Seth Riggs, the biggest of the biggest. Liz Lewis, and Lisa Popeil, and all these big time Hollywood coaches. And I went, so I went to get tickets, and the lady said, "Oh, come down to my office." And she was at Universal, right across from the Baked Potato there on Cahuenga Boulevard West. And I went there, and I got the tickets, and we talked for a second, and that was it. And then I went to the symposium. I started the symposium and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And then that was it. And I went and saw them all lecture, and it was cool. And then about a couple weeks later, I was at the Baked Potato, and I got out, and it was about 1 a.m, and I could see her light on. Across from the Baked Potato is a big building called Casting 2000. It was an old industry building from the 80s. And I could see her window light on, and I walked over there, and I looked in. And this is a good story, John, I'm getting to. So I look in the window, and she's in there, and I could see her like at her desk. And I knock on the door, and she opens and says, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm living in my car and delivering flowers, and I don't know what I'm doing." If you haven't noticed, I'm Lewis. And she's like, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I play guitar and I sing and I write songs." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, really? Okay." And I did some vocal coaching. So I knew a little bit about all that stuff. And she says, "Oh, sing me a song." And I went into her little music room. She had a little piano, and I sat down, and I'll never forget it. I started singing and playing "All Is Fair in Love" by Stevie Wonder off of Intervisions. And I can't really play it like the record. I can comp it, but I can sing it like the record. And I'm singing it, and she pokes her head, and she's like, "What the heck, man?" She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm delivering flowers. She's like, you need to do something, you're awesome. I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks." And then that was it, and I never left. And what she told me was, she said, "James, we need to legitimize you." So what she did was, she gave me an old computer she had. She gave me an email address for her company. She made me business cards and called me the music director for Premier West Entertainment. And that was it. And she basically said, now you can take meetings. That's what she told. I'll never forget. She said, "Now you can take meetings." And I'm thinking to myself, awesome, meetings. Flowers, right? But that was it, and basically I took that little crack in the sky, and I made a career out of it. Because I did what she said, and I put together a little studio. I started doing demos. I got a gig doing the production, the post for a documentary about Burning Man and all this stuff. And all while this is going on, she's teaching voice, and she's like $150 an hour. She's making stupid money teaching voice. And she's like, you should start teaching voice. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I taught a little bit, but I don't know. It's like, listen, she's like, she had a student that came to her 5 days a week, this kid from New York. She says, I can't get anywhere with this kid. Why don't you give him a lesson? And if he likes it, you can have him. And that's how it started. And he came and took a lesson and loved it. And he became my student. And the first year I was in LA, I made $11 an hour as a delivery flowers. In my second year, I made six figures.
Wow.
It was like, boom. Like I went from delivering flowers to making $140 an hour teaching voice. And then she got me on the lecture circuit. So I started doing these seminars. And, then American Idol happened. And, it blew up for a while there. It really blew up. It was crazy, man. It was like, it was unbelievable. And,
so you already had your vocal chops early then. So you probably already really singing.
Well, I'd studied in my 20s. I moved out to Hollywood. When I moved to Hollywood, I just played guitar, and I was, again, living in my car, working at a deli, and the dude, there's a lot of living in my car. I'm a real rocker, dude. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
out of here. I'm
big hair
with $50, and I'm not coming home.
Hell
if
yeah.
I'm coming home, it's in a body bag.
Sticking to plan A, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. But, but that was it. So that was how it all started. And actually, the couch I have here is her couch. Because when she moved away to Utah about 15 years ago, she said, listen, I can't imagine because I lived on that couch.
Yeah.
Like, once I started working for her, she let me live at the studio. She's like, well, don't live in your car, live here. So
I think I took a nap on that couch.
Yeah, that's the black couch. She said, I can't imagine anybody having it but you. And the moral of the story on this is, to me, like, I get a lot of people come here and they want to, hang out. They want to do a little interning. They want to assist. They want to, all you need is just a crack. Like, you just like any little opportunity, and you can move right into that door and make it happen.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. My dad used to say, he who hesitates is lost. It's like, you just got to move, man. So.
And you're teaching now, right? You're still doing the vocal teaching and stuff like that.
I just got done when we got on Skype. I taught all day, man. A ton of students in Australia. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, a bunch of Australian students today, and yeah, just a bunch of kids, and a lot of young. I work with Disney, so I do a lot of young girls.
Vocals is interesting to me because I teach a little bit. I don't pursue it, but if someone comes to me and they want a certain thing, I can deliver what they need. But for vocals, it's interesting because not everybody is born with an amazing instrument. Like, I see guys who are not so talented but have an amazing instrument, or vice versa. A so-so instrument but a lot of talent. You see that? I mean, I imagine you see that a lot because there's like, you got your vocalist that is so Bob Dylan, but everybody loves them. But then you have another vocalist that has lots of chops, maybe, but not a lot of things happen. Yeah,
what makes a great singer a lot of times is identifiability. That's why, like, you hear the session singers here. Yeah, I mean, they got nice voices, but some of it just sounds like sonic wallpaper. Just sounds like anybody, when Bob Dylan, as soon as he opens his voice, it's Steve Perry. Oh, it's Bob Dylan. And Steve Perry, as soon as he opens his mouth, it's Steve Perry. Like, that's what you want, that identifiability where it's like, whoa. I mean, that's what Britney Spears has. As soon as she starts singing, it's Britney Spears.
It's uniqueness is what I don't want to say it makes them appear, but I know some people are. But uniqueness is like, here's uniqueness, and genius somewhere is right next door to it. Because if you're doing something that no one else is doing, people see that as like, holy crap, this is amazing. But really, all they're doing is being themselves.
Yeah.
So branding, I've talked about that before too. Branding is a huge part of what we do.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have branding, then what are you doing?
Right.
You know, you're not being unique or an artist, but not everybody's cut out to be an artist, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I mean, well, you know, I think it helps to specialize.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like with you have your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, like, you know, like for me, people kind of come to me if they want like that voice, that like world domination, American Idol, jaw dropping voice.
Yeah.
That's how I got involved with them. I'm able to like get people to just peel the paint off the walls.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of my shtick. Everybody, I think, is to find what works for you and what is good and what is marketable within what you do and what, you know what I mean? Like with you, it's like you're going back to you getting like enhancing maybe your career in production. There's a part of you that gives off a very much of an instrumentalist kind of a thing. So you may attract people that are like into that music.
Oh yeah.
The hardest part with all of this is if you actually want to make a living is finding people that actually pay to have stuff done. Like the thing with Nashville, there's an abundance of people wanting studio and production, and there's not an abundance of people with any money or even any ideas. You know what I mean? Like they don't know how to do it. They don't know what they can rhyme. They can write songs about pickup trucks and whiskey, but that's like it. You know, and you know, so for me, I mean, being honest, I've found that getting involved more with Disney and the young market is just, that to me sometimes feels like the last bastion of money in the music business. You know, because not only is it, I mean, because they're funded.
Right.
Funded. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? They just don't have they have nobody behind them. They have no money behind them. They have no action behind them. You know,
I was thinking about that this morning. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, but money, man, it's
well,
like,
it's real prevalent here in Nashville.
Yeah,
like, this is the land of broke shit. Like, you know, in LA, you know what they say about Nashville? There's plenty of work. It's hard to get paid. It's like the Christian market. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff to do. How do you actually get paid at this?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and I'm finding too with a lot of artists, and I've worked with some younger artists. They've all got rich parents behind them, you know, and there's a lot of other great artists that don't have any financial backing that we may never be able to get to hear because they just can't get out of that hold. You know, the more money you have, the more money kind of comes to you, you know, and it's easier. But there's other people that just, they're working hard, they're practicing, but they got to do this, that, or the other to make ends meet. So we'll never be able to hear them. It's just frustrating. I was thinking about it this morning for a while, actually. You know, got people that I'm working with who have a gazillion Instagram followers. You know, they're kids, they're younger. Like you said, younger. This is how I see it, how younger people are nice to work with, because they all have parents still that they're fronting money for them.
Bingo with Nemo.
Yeah. I
hope nobody watches this and just jumps off a bridge. It's really not bad. I mean, we're kind of gone down this dark. I had no idea what we were even going to talk about.
Oh, it's going to get dark.
No context. I just got on my buddy John. Von BAME. You know, it's so, a part of the thing that I struggled with on American Idol was they really wanted me to be candid, but they didn't know what can of worms they were opening when they asked me to be candid.
Right.
And there were a few times where they're like, hey man, like, so I've had to like learn how to like, whoa. Cause I've said, I've been, well, yeah, I can, so, but I don't know, man. I think it's important if you're going to be in the music business that you can hustle. You got to hustle, man.
You got to hustle.
You got to hustle, man. Either that or you got to have rich parents. Like one or the two. That's it. Game over. You got to either have your hustle game has to be on warp speed.
Yeah. And I've hustled my ass off the last, while. Been a while. I've been hustling. And, I'm sitting here in the practice room for hours. Then I'm hustling after that. And, and then I started getting really busy. And it's funny how, there's another thing I was thinking about today. If you want to put a target on your back, tell musicians or somehow let other musicians know that you're busy. Man, I've had people diss me like you wouldn't believe because I made myself busy. I worked my ass off. I hustled, and they're not hustling. They might think they are, but they're not. And they're fine musicians, some of the guys that I'm thinking of.
Right.
But, yeah, you got to hustle. The hustle is real.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and also you got to be patient. I've been like, so like, yeah, I'm in a weird stage right now because I'm like kind of on this spiritual journey. And I was like, almost, you start thinking about like being patient and not controlling and letting go. And, it's like, it's a challenge, it's a challenge, man. My advice to anybody, if you want to be in the music business, you better be in it because you're destined to it. And that's just what you're going to do. Yeah. Because if you think you're just going to get it to be famous or get chicks or be loaded, you're probably in for a pretty sobering experience. This is what I do. This is what you do. This is it. This is our deal, for better or for worse. You just got to be in it, and then you got to be smart and find out, I know in LA they always talk about being, finding your specialty,
And that's interesting because in Tennessee, I never heard that.
Yeah, that's a big
in Nashville, that was never something. It was almost, if you came here as a musician, that would almost be a guarantee that you wouldn't find work.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they want. This is the world of. This is like this. Nashville sometimes to me is like musical wallpaper. It's very kind of like. I don't know. There's just an incredible, first of all, there's an incredible level of sameness here. It's like staggering sameness. And then also it's like cover musicians. Like you got to be able to play like, Steely Dan to like Garth Brooks to Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? Like you just got to have it all going on.
For 6 hours a night.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah, you got to know. Yeah, right. To make $100, you got to know 14,000 songs.
Yeah.
It's so anybody that gets wrapped up in that, you have to. You just have to. It has to be your thing. Like for me, I would never go down and do like be a Broadway player. It's not in my heart. And I would go down for my first gig and park 3 miles away and walk with my Telecaster, and by the end of the night my feet would hurt and I'd have 100 and I'd be like, nah, this isn't for me, but if it's for you, then learn the charts, do the thing, man. Get your tunes down.
And I think too the scene in Nashville has changed so much over the years that coming here with the focus of not being unique, but being that kind of chameleon will only lead you to those not making a lot of money gigs, really.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, man. You know,
I'll get a lot of flack for saying that too, if you know, because there's a lot of hard workers. We're all struggling. We're all trying to make it, but just from my experience and what worked for me, the doors didn't open for me until I decided to be myself. Yeah. And that's why I asked you about the importance of branding earlier, because I wanted to know if being yourself was something that, you know, put you.
I mean, I always kind of had my own thing, you know. And what's weird with me is that I got integrated into a system that was not what I ever intended. It was never my thing. You know, I mean, I ended up in the pop world. I ended up working, you know, I was making records for Death Row. I mean, I was doing hip hop. I was working with Disney, working with kids. I mean, before I started working with kids with Disney, I didn't even like kids. Like, you know, expensive, noisy, and, you know, messy. Yeah. You know, and, you know, yeah, decades later, and I have my own kids, and they are all those things, but now, you know, there's an upside too, right?
Right.
But, you know, but the thing is, like, I'm always the dude. Like, I was School of Rock before School of Rock. Like, when that movie came out, everybody's like, dude, I think that they stole your life. I was always like, with kids, and I was always, you know, because that's how I am. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm like, ooh, you know, kind of dude, right? And then I'd be always in like, you know, like it was always like, oh, there's James the Rocker dude, you know. So that was always my thing. But I had other talents. Like, what's really weird was one thing that I found out in this journey that I was good at was tracking rap. And I think it's from years of learning guitar solos. Like having that articulate rhythm thing, because tracking raps and getting the doubles tight and punching, like, man, it's like learning Van Halen solos. Like, you gotta know that timing and you know, because they're pushing and pulling and they're running out of breath, and you gotta know like how far to let them run out of breath, because the running out of breath sounds cool. You know, there's rap guys that punch every line. It's lame. I mean, I come from like 90s West Coast rap where like running out of breath was like a part of the sound of it.
I've actually been listening to a lot of that lately.
Oh man, it's like this and like that and like this, yeah.
Warren G and all that.
Yeah. Well, I worked with Warren G.
Yeah, he's the shit.
For years, his main engineer was my main engineer, and that's how we got glued together. He actually, because of me, his studio, when he moved to Hollywood, he moved right in my building. I think he was one floor below me, 6. But yeah, like we worked with, you know, 213 and Nate Dogg and Snoop Dogg, and, you know, we did, you know, Method Man and Lil Jon and tons of those records. And I had a certain talent for it. But
yeah.
It took a little while. Rap's tricky, man. You know,
yeah, people don't give it enough credit.
People that marginalize any genre of music usually it's because they don't do it. Like, people listen to pop and they're like, oh, that's all the same. It's like, oh, really? Why don't you go make a Katy Perry record and then we'll talk?
Yeah.
You go make a Justin Bieber record. You make it sound like that.
Good luck.
I'm doing a record for a kid, young singer, kind of pop country dude, and he's into that 10,000 Hours Dan and Shay Bieber song. Have you ever heard it? Man, it's like a masterpiece of pop. Man, I put the thing on in my car. I've got it on Spotify and in a playlist, and I listen to that song. Every time I listen to that song, I learn something.
Really?
Man. Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know who mixed it. It sounds like Serban Gane or one of those guys.
I got to come by and listen to what you're doing.
Oh, man. I've learned how to program since. I've been getting into Serum and Omnisphere. And
I've been playing a lot of MIDI on my bass.
Have you?
Yeah, because this new thing I'm working on kind of caters to that.
Hey, man, let's get together when all this dust settles, man. We got to make some damn music, man.
I know. I mean, that was really I don't want to say disappointing, but it was pretty shitty that we put all that work into that project with the rehearsals and stuff, and then everything.
Shot the videos. We did it all, but nothing's gone.
That's the thing. It's like the whole world's on pause.
Yeah, like when all this settles, the four of us, everybody wants to still do it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm down. I'm
because it's not like
so long. And you know what I watched last night? I've been watching these documentaries on the history of these bands. Man, the Doobie Brothers. Like I'm like watching. I'm like, man, I want to play music. Like I was thinking about the band last night, watching the Doobie Brothers, and I've been watching Tom Petty and Genesis and all different bands.
Yeah. We're on pause, and it's like since no one else is doing anything, it's like like you said, we're just going to pick up where we left off. And that's the feeling. That's the vibe I've got.
Luckily, it's rock and roll. You just count to 4 and start all over again.
Right.
A couple of our songs are in 7. So we need to calculator out, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Those are big numbers. I'm a bass player too. That's a big number for me.
Yeah, it's like you got to use your other feet.
No, the band's killing though.
Yeah, it's gonna be, man, dude. I was so psyched. I had a ton of people coming out too. We were gonna pack that little Stillwater.
I know, right?
Whatever it's called, that little joint. I went there. About a month before we were gonna gig, and I saw like a metal show, and I was like, damn, man, it was like CBG, like grimy.
Grimy.
But I thought, man, we'll tear this place a new booty.
There was another place like that. I can't remember the name of the joint. It's still around. Napalm Death played there.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's grimy and the whole spiel. You walk in, you're like, oh shit. You know, it's like black walls when you walk in and there's like fluorescent paint on everything.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, you're like tripping when you walk in.
Nice.
But
now,
yeah.
The pandemic, I can't wait to use that bathroom. I'll come walking out of there in like a complete like rubber suit.
Right on.
Like,
yeah.
You know, and like the old I was in the Army, the MOP 4 military operation protective posture. MOPP MOP 4. That's gloves, helmet, and boots. Like you're completely when you're getting ready to go overseas, if they're battling and there's any chemical warfare, they won't let you urinate for the whole day.
Wow.
You can only urinate at night after work. You have to hold it because they want to train you to hold it.
Wow.
People get out in the middle of war, and they got to go, man. They unzip the thing, and boom, they're dead.
Yeah.
They breathe in the funky juice. Sean.
Well,
we did, man.
Yeah, anything you want to tell anybody before we go? Any words of inspiration or words of...
Everything's going to be all right, man.
I think so.
A reggae song. Everything's going to be all right. You know, just buckle in and, take this as an opportunity to learn. I've been doing, like I said, I've been learning the synths. I've been getting my drum programming. I learned Superior Drummer. I've been taking piano lessons. I've been learning. Here, name this song. Name this tune. Mr. Name.
Let's see.
I don't know if I can do this. Let's see if I can do it. Take it again.
Sing it.
What you won't do, you do for love. You tried everything. Bobby Caldwell.
Sing it. Sing it.
You tried everything. You do for love. I don't know.
I just want to hear it. I just want to hear you sing.
Yeah. We're going to sing. We're going to get back together, Johnny.
Yeah, it's been too long. I miss you.
How's the
peeps?
Kazach doing?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him since
He seems a little off the radar on Facebook. I'm going to give him a call.
I think everybody's off the radar, to be honest with you. Because for me, social media for me is like no place for my personal life or my opinions, really. I post music stuff and I get out of there, you know. Yeah. And since no one's really doing a whole lot, for me there hasn't been a lot of posting going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure that offends some people.
It's all your fault.
I know it's all my fault. I don't like all their posts.
How can anybody not like John Bon Bain?
Dude, some people don't, man. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. It means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
But, all right, man. It's been great talking to you. I hope to talk to you soon. Hope we get to play together soon. Sooner than later. But
y'all keep yourselves straight out there, man.